Hey everybody, it's Martha. Welcome to my Shabby Craft Studio. I am ever so grateful that you are here. I'm back. I've been busy creating and I just wanted to share a couple things with you. I want to thank everybody first of all for all of your support, your kind words, for taking the time to write to me when I was feeling very down. And it's been a week and I feel better now. The first several days were very tough. As you know, I didn't hold it together very well in my last video and I apologize for that. But I'm glad I asked for help. There's no shame in asking for help, no matter what it's for. Because honestly, if you feel like you need help, then you do. And there's no shame in asking for it. So, anyway, I had several suggestions of other people to watch and things I could make and do to get me started again. And I want you to know that many of those suggestions helped me greatly. So I am going to work on these today. But first, I just want to show you something. I showed you my little fall paper bag journal that I had started, and it was pretty naked. But I had some incentive from all of you, and I was able to pick it up a little bit. So I added these two leaves, which I received in Happy Mail last year when I was doing a fall journal. And excuse me. So I added this one to the spine threads and the button is still there. And then this one I glued onto the cover. And you may notice a little discoloration here with this owl, and I will explain that in a few minutes. So the inside I've made just a little, notebook. This is my tea-dyed, comes on a roll, cash register tape. Thank you very much. And then I think I had this pocket in there maybe when I showed you. I can't remember. But I did end up decorating a lot more of it. And I'm very happy with it. And I have you all to thank for that. So there's these tags here. And the journaling spot here, and then this folds in, and it flips over, and then we have this little envelope here, which I think was there when I showed you last time, but then I added a pocket and a tag, and this is just the top of a file folder. I added one of my faux whale tail punches there. Thank you, Rachel, so much for showing us how to do that. And I have shared that here a couple of times, how to do that. You use a circle punch, 2 circle punches. And then we have a little fold-out envelope. I'm sorry for the frog in my throat. It is very humid here today. It's cool, but it's humid, and humidity just tears me up. I just don't do well with humidity. I did add a bit of a ruffle here as suggested. And that's glued down, and I designed this paper and shrunk it down. Then I faux dyed, I guess you would call it, this strip of muslin, and I did that with the Distress Oxides that I have. And I just put them on a block. So I have this very large block for stamping, and I don't pull it out often unless I have something that is, that large. And I do have a few stamps that are that large. And what I did was I put the Distress Oxide on here, sprayed it, and then scrunched the fabric up in it. And then I did it with a second color. I used yellow and orange, which it looks like there, but it's really not because the orange just sort of melted into the yellow. So what I did was I dried it, and then I added the red after. If you don't dry it, your colors are going to bleed into each other because they're reactive, water reactive colors, right? Okay, this is another paper I designed, and I thought these colors matched these colors so nicely that I just had to do it. So that's just like an extra tab on the edge of a page. The center, this was the center page, and I made it into a pocket, and I made this is a tea stained 5x7 index card. I'm sorry. Bear with me. And I decoupaged over it, so it's like, it's almost like fabric. I really love that feeling. And that's a napkin, of course. And another little cutout on the other side of the page I did. And then I did do a snippet here. Now, I've said that I'm not really thrilled with my snippets. This could probably have something added to it, and I may consider that. And then a little butterfly printout. A lot of these, I think all of these printouts, probably, except for these pages, all of these printouts are from the Graphics Fairy, I believe the premium membership, because that's what I have. So this is another part of the ruffle. And then there's some lace here with another little faux envelope here to journal in. And mushrooms on my... this is my faux handmade paper from my Etsy shop. And I left these tabs from the fabric sticking out at the top because I just love that. Another faux, oh, this is a pocket with the stag peeking out on the card. And it's just a journaling tag. And that goes right in there. Okay, oops. Come on, Martha, you got this. You can do it. Pull it together today. It's not that hard to get in there. Trust me. It's just me today. I'm having one of them days. And then another faux whale tail with some stamping inside of mushrooms. And more mushrooms. And another bird tag. And... more mushrooms and the rest of that little ruffle I had. And then I had these 2 pieces of cardstock. I don't know what I had cut out, but this one went down this way and squared off. This one went down this way and squared off. They were the same size. So I just glued them in there and made a pocket. And there's a couple little tags in there. Well, one large tag, one small tag. And then the back is here. And then I had this, I don't know if you can see it. I had made this last fall, and I was experimenting with covers based on tutorials that Andrea at Artie Mays had done. And I had this one left over, and it matches the napkin that I used on the front here. So this is on, you know, recycled cardboard. And I just glued it down on this side and this side. And I made a simple little tag with napkins and popped it there. Now all I have to do is figure out my closing. And I may just put an eyelet in here and put a tie around it, I think. So I'm probably going to pop this in my Etsy shop in the next few days. Let me explain the water stain. You can see I use an inkjet printer. And yes, it's discolored, and I'm going to leave it that way. It was part of the journey of this journal. And I really think that anything that's imperfect is perfect. So we all know that we're quite imperfect. I'm a perfect example of being imperfect. So I am going to leave it, but I will tell you the story of that in a few minutes. So I wanted to let you know that I was able to finish this because of all of you. And again, I hugely, greatly appreciate it because I wouldn't have been able to do it without you. All right. You'll notice that I have my desk calendar backing back on my desk, but the board, the poster board that usually goes underneath it is not there. And that's also part of the story. So I am going to start with these. And this is based on one of the suggestions. However, it's not following the directions of that suggestion to watch the mushroom market. And I believe her name is Sarah, and I apologize if it's not. I know she's not subscribed to my channel. I will tag her in the link below that I will put for her video in the description box. So I went to town one evening, sitting in front of TV, and stamped on fabric. Now, this is a very thin muslin, and these on this strip are the Tim Holtz from, I can't remember the name of the stamp set because I threw the packaging away and stuck it in my thing. But anyway, these also are Tim Holtz from that same stamp set, and I will find it and link that below as well. I am not an Amazon affiliate. I tried to do it, but there were so many rules and I got scared off. So I decided against doing it. So if you click on the link, you will not be helping me out at all because I am not an affiliate anymore. These are just some stamps that I had. These come from a magazine. This whole page here came from a stamping magazine that I got. Oh my goodness. I can't remember if it wasn't this spring. It had to be last summer. And the magazine's from the UK, so they come out a little later here. And so the summer one was out, I think, in the fall. And I finally found it. I fell in love with it when somebody showed it on Facebook. And so I have, this fabric is much heavier than this fabric. I think maybe you can see that if I put it up close enough in the light. This is very light muslin. This is a canvas. And I had bought some heavier canvas by accident. Plus I had some strips left over from putting spines on ephemera folios. So I decided to use it up stamping on it. And it really did come out quite well, even though the fabric here is quite wrinkled and it's heavier than the muslin. I think it came out pretty good. Now, I will say when I stamped these, and that was just a strip I had, and then I like the keys a lot. I'll finish my sentence in a minute. More dragonflies, because I like dragonflies. And I love these little hanging hearts. I just love them. I love them because I love hearts. I love hearts and butterflies. My two favorite things. And then some more of these. And this is a really, this canvas is heavier than this canvas. It's not canvas. It's called utility cloth. It is not called canvas. I buy mine at Joann's. And I often have to, have to search around for it inside their store because they're always moving it around to a different section. And then this is on the lighter canvas again, or, well, utility cloth. So I thought those were cute. And they're going to be, I tried on the back. Now here I tried my archival ink. Okay, that's what I was starting to tell you. And it did not work out well. I really like my archival ink. Now, this may need to be re-inked at this point because I use it a lot. And when you see me ink edges, I use the coffee archival ink. I like to have the archival ink because it's permanent. And for me, using a water-based ink like the oxides or inks from Ranger, they will run if you get wet glue on them, or they may spread, or they may thin out if you get glue or water, or want to use a water-based crayon or something. And I just like knowing that my ink is going to be permanent. So there's that. So I did the other side in the StazOn. Personally, I can't stand the smell of this. If it's open too long, for me, I start not feeling well. So, yeah, there's that. But that's what I had to use. And I tried to find the smallest stamps I had. That was a challenge. I mean, these are probably 1 to 2 inches. And it was a challenge for me to figure out anything smaller. But I had fun. So that's all that matters, right? So at the mushroom market, and I'm going to call her that because if her name isn't Sarah, I'm going to be really embarrassed. But somehow I keep hearing people say Sarah at the mushroom market, so I'm thinking that's what her name is. Hope so. Anyways, so what she did was she started with, well, hold that thought. She started with a piece of paper bag. Now, this is brown paper that came in an Amazon package. I don't get brown paper in most of my Amazon packages, but I was very happy to get this. And I think I've gotten one other package where we've gotten this, and that paper's sitting out in the garage because there just is no more room in here. And what I thought after watching the video twice and then a day going by, but because my brain is malfunctioning so much lately, due to, you know, stress and sadness, I am trying to get back on track. And so I did this. And this is sort of kind of what she did, but not really. This is more like a snippet. And some of these are, I mean, they're very simple. There's like 2 or 3 pieces of paper there, and then one of the stamps. Excuse me. I have a froggy throat. However, that's not what Sarah did. So I have, what did I do with it? Here it is. So she had squares of what looked like nicely ironed muslin sitting out. This, however, is not nicely ironed. It's just there. So she had squares pre-cut. And so what I'm going to do is just sort of whack away and tear these. And I'm going to make them close to the same size, but they're not. They're not at all. You'll see they're getting bigger and bigger as I go. Because, you know, that's Martha for you. Martha working. So I hope this finds everybody well. I am, I can't believe we're almost to October. I don't know about you, but as slow as this year seems it went because of, you know what, that which shall remain nameless, because we don't want to give it any credit. I just feel like we have whizzed through the year, even though we've been at home mostly. And I know some of you have had to work through it, and some of you have had to go back to work. Oh, sorry, nose itches. Okay, I need a sip of tea so I can slow down and contemplate. Now you'll notice my tea is in a closed cup. That's also part of the story of why my owl has watermarks on it. But we're going to continue to do this. Now, I believe what Sarah did was something along the line, and you know, I'm going to need a bigger piece of paper than that. That's what's left of what I ripped the first time. So let me, I don't want a huge one because I have realized, yay Martha, you figured something out for yourself, that I have kind of a tough time. All right, we're going to, I think that'll be it. Oh, okay. Excuse the arms in front of the camera. I apologize. All right. Now, she did call this the crinkle factor, and that's why. All righty. I cannot work in a really big surface because it overwhelms me. And then I'm like, oh, I can't do it. Okay. So, now, one of the things that Sarah did, where's my something to glue on? New glue stick because my husband took my other one. And yes, I'm usually using Scotch glue on this. Now, I don't know if this is going to work this way. One of the first ones she did was to go like this and put her fabric down. Now, my problem with that is that glue is seeping through a little bit because I went a little heavy-handed, but I think we're going to be okay. All right, so I'm going to get my StazOn, and I'm going to get a stamp out. Let's see. What am I going to use? Let's use a butterfly. A butterfly. A butterfly. Okay. So I think I'm going to use this one, actually. It's a little long, but there's a reason for that. Okay. For using one a little bit long. And let's see. I don't want my giant block. So there's that. And this one is really, I've tried washing this ink off. It doesn't come off. So, oops. And then I like to put that upside down. And then I think this pad seems to be really inked on one end and not as inked on the other. So I have to make sure that I sort of do it all around. And then what was done by the Mushroom Market was sort of, she went off the edges of the fabric. And I thought, thinking outside the box, right? So I'm going to make sure that has a chance to make its mark. Pretty. I like that. And I'm thinking I might need to get some StazOn in other colors, because this would be really pretty in a blue or something like that, right? And then what was done, and let me get, was she took fabric, pieces of fabric, and I have, I think, some here. I grabbed this bag off of my Slow Stitch cart, so I'm not sure what I've got in here. Well, actually, see, that's not going to work on this one, but we'll do that. I am going to take this crocheted trim. I'm going to put it right there. And it's just simple. And you can't, oops, cover your glue, Martha. And so, of course, you can click on the link for how this was done. And I'm actually going to do it this way. And this bottle is almost empty. I'm trying to finish up this bottle because I want to move on to my new bottle. And so I opened it and let my husband use it yesterday because he wanted to make, I'm sorry, my nose itches again. I'm going to either kiss a fool or have a fight, and I don't want to do either. Okay. There, simple. And then she went through and stitched around them. I'm not going to do that on camera because my sewing machine that I sew paper on is out in the dining room because Tony sews things for me. He's gotten better at it. And so he sews the pockets onto the ephemera folios. And I love it because that is such a boring, mundane job. Thank you for bearing with me while I drink something so I'm not so froggy and stuff. Okay, so let's do this again. Now, you can use the I could use the pre-stamped ones. And I think I'm going to cut this bird out. Make sure I'm using the right side. This is the one that I tested the back and it didn't come out so great. Okay, and this is so heavy. But it frays like crazy. Now I'm actually going to let that fray right there stay there. All right, so if I glue this down, and the glue won't seep through the utility fabric. Let me keep rephrasing that. As easily as it will. I'm going to adjust you just a teeny bit more because I keep reaching up here to work. And the camera was, anyway, I hope it's close enough. All right, now I'm going to use this glue for this time. And really, if you're going to sew them, you don't need a lot of glue, right? And you can use fabric tack. I tend not to use it very much. And I'm going to leave, I want to leave enough room to tear around these because this is going to be torn. And I thought this was a wonderful way to make cute little easy snippets. And that was one of the suggestions by many of you, was to make snippets. And that's basically what these are for. So there you go. It can be done either way, honestly. Let's see. I was going to, there it is. I was going to put some of this up here. So what Sarah did was she took some fabric, and it almost looked like, to me, that looks like a valance looking out a window, right? So, so I thought maybe I could put like that there. And then I have this other fabric that I really love. I got this fabric at a quilt shop, and the next day, literally, the quilt shop burnt down. And I wanted to go back so bad and get more after I bought it. I was like, why did I only buy that much? And it burnt down. And then come to find out, they sent all of the smoky fabric, I guess. The fire didn't start in the quilt shop. Let me clarify that. It started in the pizza shop next door. Now, see, I don't know if that's too much or not. I feel like that's too much. So I'm going to just play around here. Not loving that. I do love this, but that's because I love that fabric. I just think that's cute. See, I'm loving this fabric. That's why I keep changing. So let's, I'm just snipping it because, oh, that's pretty. I like that. And I have no idea what the name of the fabric is. But it's, you know, it wasn't cheap because it was from a quilt shop. And quilting fabric is, good quality fabric is quite expensive. It was like, I don't know, $13 a yard. So I'm going to be stingy and frugal with it, of course. And you don't need a lot of glue if you're going to sew around these. So what I'll probably do is make a few of these. And then what I'm going to do is I'll stop the camera. I'll go sew around them and come back and show you. So I hope that's okay. But I think they're just really cute, aren't they? Don't you love them? See if I can tear this one. When the pieces of this really heavy duty fabric get small like this, it's really hard to tear them, to be honest. All right, so maybe I will use this like underneath. Yeah, I like that. And then maybe some of the crochet trim, because this is my favorite crochet trim. I've mentioned that before. It's good old Dollar Tree. Oops. Yep, I like that. I got to start putting my glue tip bottle topper back on because otherwise my glue shall dry up on me. So yeah, the story, while I do this, the story of what happened with the water, it wasn't water. The day I made the video, I was sitting in my room and my husband came home from wherever he was. And I was already very stressed and on edge and sad, and I was just having a really terrible morning, as you all know, by witnessing my video. And thank you for sticking with me through that. I really do apologize. However, I did, he came home from being gone. Let's see, what else do we have here? Let's do some flowers. And he started asking me, no, I know what it was. He had bought me, I had told him about a frying pan, that I thought we needed a new frying pan because our Teflon coated frying pan, and I know they're not safe to use. I know. But we like nonstick, and he cooks better in nonstick. And if he's going to cook, you know, I'm all for making it easier on him. So, oopsies. So the pan we have is all scratched up because no matter how hard I try, I don't know, some husbands are, my husband is wonderful. Don't get me wrong. He is awesome. He's, you know, always helping me out. He helps me with my Etsy shop. He sews the ephemera folio pockets. He does a lot. Trust me. He cooks. He takes care of Evan. He does a lot of shopping, grocery shopping. So he had gone to Walmart and he picked up a frying pan. And he came home and he's like, I got this pan. But the top of the pan we measured was 12 inches. So I said, you know, I want to replace it with a 12-inch frying pan. But I should have said, I don't want you to pick one up today. I want to go pick it out. But I didn't. I didn't communicate well, and it was my fault. So he came home with this frying pan, and he was very proud of himself for picking it up and thought he did a good job, and he did. Don't get me wrong. He certainly did. Ooh, this is pretty. We're going to use these next. And I looked at him and I said, look at the frying pan. He goes, it's 12 inch. I said, it's 12 inches on the top. The base of the frying pan is only about 7 inches wide. I mean, I went off on the poor guy. I really did. It wasn't fair to him. I'm like, I wish you wouldn't just go buying things when I haven't asked you to buy them. We just had a discussion. Why do you always have to do that? Poor Tony. Poor Tony. I apologize, Tony. And I did. I apologized all over myself for losing it on him. But I was just not in a good place, and I did lose it on him. I really, really did. And so I kind of let loose, and it wasn't fair to him, and I know that. We all make mistakes. And so I'm trying to get this yellow to show. I really like the yellow. Okay. Now this is off the same fabric, so maybe the yellow, you think the yellow doesn't match, but trust me, it's off the same piece of fabric. Now that one's just not coming together for me. Why? So in the process of feeling like I was letting him down by telling him he didn't do the right thing, and feeling the way I was feeling already, and sort of a lack of sleep and some other things, I just kind of went off the deep end, which I'm not proud of. Wow, I am struggling with this one, aren't I? Just go with it, Marth. Just go with it. So in the process of that, I had, if you watch that video from the beginning of this week, I had a full mug of tea. Yep, the tea went everywhere. I mean, I spilled that entire mug. There were words coming out of my mouth that should not come out of a woman's mouth, probably. And that upset me tremendously. It really sent me off the deep end. And yes, I've had these meltdowns before. And yes, I struggle sometimes with depression. And it was just a bad week. It just really was. So my poster board that I get at Hobby Lobby was ruined. And we went to Hobby Lobby, I don't know, this week. And I looked for more, but I couldn't find any. They didn't have that particular pattern or a pattern I liked. And so let's see, what don't I have yet? So I have a dragonfly here. I haven't done a dragonfly. So that totally got ruined. My mat, my almost new Fiskars mat. Make sure I have the right side up. Sometimes it's hard to tell. I like that. I just like that, just like that. Now, that doesn't mean I won't add things to it. My Fiskars mat, which is, let me do this without blinding you. This one here that I absolutely love. Yeah, this is a brand new one. I had a 50% off coupon for Joann's, and I had to go buy a new one because that totally warped. Don't know why. It might be from the tea spilling all over it. And I mean, this tea went everywhere. It was just soaking like through everything. It was such a bad day. But I will tell you that that is how I process things. Is I pretty much tend to have a meltdown. And if I have a meltdown like that, then usually after that, I'm pretty much over whatever's been bothering me. So that's the good news. I mean, I won't ever be over losing our little Gabby because, you know, that's just something I won't get over. All right, I'm going to go sew these and I'll be back. However, I'm going to finish my sentence first. I mean, I won't get over the loss of her, but I've moved on. And a lot of people suggested that I should possibly journal about it and stuff like that. That's just not my thing. And I do appreciate it. And, you know, I just have other ways of processing things like that. So, yeah, that's kind of how it went. And now I've been able to open up and create again and move on. And all of you helped me do that. So I will be right back. I'm going to go sew these. Okay. So here's what I did. I'm going to show you close up. There's threads everywhere. I'll probably have to go through and cut all these off, but I wanted to show you up close. And I did. It's hard to see because I used a very neutral, light colored thread. I was going to change it out, but I was lazy. There you go. Honest truth. And I did a little bit of decorative. I don't have very many decorative stitches on my machine. On that machine. On my big machine, my very expensive machine, I have some lovely decorative stitches, but that machine costs $7,000. And I really don't know that I want to be sewing paper on it. It cost me quite a bit. I forgot to detach those threads to get my cheap sewing machine cleaned and repaired. And I have a tip for you. If you haven't had your sewing machine cleaned and repaired in the last year, and you do a lot of sewing, whether it be fabric or paper or both, make an appointment, take your machine in, You may have to do without it for a couple of weeks. Some machine repair places, they do them within, you know, like they have a guy come. Like if you take it to a quilt shop and have it done, they have a guy come like once a month or something like that, and he repairs the sewing machines. However, I have a shop in Fredericksburg that does repairs. He sells some machines, but I mean, I think, you know, his main thing is, well, I mean, he does sell machines, don't get me wrong, but he does repair machines. But I think he's a one-man shop at this point. And so he's very slow getting the machines done. He told me it'd probably be, and this was BC. And if you don't know what BC is, it's before COVID. He wanted to keep my machine for like a couple of months, I think it was. And he had machines stacked all over the floor. I mean, just all over the floor of this little tiny shop. And I think they were all for repairs. So first off, I don't really like that he leaves the machines sitting all over the floor like that. I want this torn. Uh-oh, just a little closer. Okay. I did tear into the stitches, so who knows what'll happen to them. They might come out, but this is going to be glued down. It doesn't matter, right? This is pretty tough. This packing paper is pretty tough. So, of course, I will not throw these pieces out. Those will be used in collage. So I told him that I use it for my business. And he said that he would get it out sooner. He said it might still be 3 weeks before he could get it to me. He had it done in a week. Bless his heart. I was ever so grateful to him and told him so. Because it's the machine I use for sewing the ephemera folios. I will not use my $7,000 machine for sewing plastic onto paper. So that's that one. That's the back. Yeah. So I won't. And so he did get it to me. He said it was absolutely a mess inside. Now, mind you, I've sewn a lot of things on that machine. Before I did journaling stuff, I sewed rope bowls, and you make them out of clothesline, which is cotton. And all the quilts I've ever sewn have been on that machine, and that's cotton. Cotton is a very dusty, linty type of fiber. And when you tear it, if you notice when you tear any kind of cotton, whether it's muslin or quilting cotton, these little particles go flying everywhere. And to be honest, I think I'm allergic to them. I love this one. That's really pretty. It's just so simple. And so, make sure I'm recording. That would be terrible. I knew I hit the button, but I wasn't sure it took. So, yeah. So all this lint and paper and plastic and threads, and he said it was a mess. He took the top of the machine off. He said any oil that had been inside the machine, and I didn't think computerized sewing machines were supposed to be oiled. That's what I've always read on all the, you know, on any of the forums I ever belonged to for sewing and quilting and stuff. But they aren't oiled like a regular old-fashioned machine, mechanical machine. But he said they still need to be oiled in the bottom. Now, I will tell you that when I brought it home, there was oil, like I set it on my sewing machine table, and there was oil leaking out the bottom for months afterwards. So I think he over-oiled it. But he did tell me that, like, everything inside, it was jam-packed. He said the bottom was jam-packed, full of stuff, lint, plastic, paper, fabric, threads, pins, all kinds of stuff. Don't ask me how the pins got in there. I have no idea. But he did say that it had soaked up any of the oil that was in there. And so he had to clean all that out. And it cost me $100. So clean under your bobbin regularly. Take your little bobbin case out. You can unscrew that part. And I have seriously thought about trying to figure out how to clean my own sewing machine. But you need to have them cleaned often. And the more you use it, like if you use it every day for sewing paper, plastic, fabric, whatever, you really should have it done probably every 6 months to a year. So it's about time for me to have to take mine in again, because I think it was last fall when I took it in. So I think what happened was I read an article that this man was extremely busy with his sewing machine repair business because of everybody sewing masks for COVID, and everybody's machines needed servicing because they were using them so much. So there you go. There you go. So you might have a wait time. So I would call, see if you need to make an appointment, call a quilting shop near you, call a sewing machine shop, repair shop near you. They can fix the machines and they will do a nice job, and you'll have a nice, happy machine when you get it home. And change your needle often. Paper, plastic, fabric, all dull the needles really fast. So change your needle often if your thread is bunching up or whatever. So that's my tip of the day. Okay. So there's those. And here are the ones that I did in front of TV, but I did them not based solely on, these have no fabric on them, except the stamped fabric, of course. And tear that off. And tear that off. And maybe tear that off. Don't like where that's going. There you go. Now these will be lovely to use on pockets or on, you know, in your journals, on a page, on the edge of a page, whatever. They're gorgeous. So if you have snippets of fabric, if you have muslin or utility cloth or linen, do try to use the StazOn, not because you want it to stay on, which you do, but you know, these things aren't going to be washed, but it seems to print the best. The other problem I've run into is certain ink pads will bleed and not be a clear result. And I don't know if that's just the ink pad or also the type of stamp you use. So there's that. So my one other thing that I want to share with you is that somebody on Facebook a while back said something about covering their glue bottle with something that when you close your scissors, a cover, a silicone cover that goes over the scissors. Well, I went on Amazon. I couldn't really find anything that fit the description of that I was happy with. But then it dawned on me. There is, I have been known to knit. I'm not a great knitter. Can't really follow. I can make hats, and I can make scarves, and I can make fingerless gloves because I don't know how to do the tips of the fingers. So I thought about it, and I thought, knitting needle tips. These protect your knitting from falling off the tips of your needles when you're, shoot, that one's gone. I'll have to fetch that one. Oh, here, I can get it with my Tootsies. So I found this kit on Amazon. Now, if you notice, this hole is bigger than, let's see if I can get it to focus. This hole is smaller. This hole is bigger. Yeah. And then, so that's the biggest one, right? No, that was in there. But I think, I don't know. It's hard to tell. They're the same size pretty much. And so they come in different sizes and different colors, and you don't have to get these. If you go to Hobby Lobby, if you have a Hobby Lobby near you, I did find them in there after I had ordered these. I found them in Hobby Lobby in a set of 2. There was a smaller set like this, right? One with a smaller hole like that. And then, well, there was a set. There were 2 of, I believe, 2 of these and 2 of these, because you usually knit with 2 needles at a time. Some people knit with more than that. If they're working on a project. Now what? Oh, I picked that one up already. Sorry. My poor dog, Evan, is wondering why I'm zooming in and out in my chair. Anyhow, I got this on Amazon because I figured I'm going to lose the one that I use, right? So, but I had already ordered these, and then I found the ones at Hobby Lobby. So they come in a set of 2 at Hobby Lobby. They're in the knitting department. They're by Sewology. And actually this week, I believe today is September 27th or 28th. It's a Sunday, and I can't tell you because I'm using my phone to record. But this week, the sewing stuff is on sale at Hobby Lobby, the Sewology stuff. So I think it's 50% off. And they were only like a few dollars. So if you get them, you could pick up several packages for that price. And what I've done, because I hate the pin is hard to get in the hole. I'm always losing it. I mean, there's a huge difference in the size, right? So, and I'm always bending them. If you can see, this is not straight. it's warped, it's bent, and I'm always struggling like that to get it in the hole. So what I've done is I've used these. Now you can see that there is glue building up inside here. I save my pin. I put it somewhere I can find it all the time. And I've been doing this for a week, and I went several days. I won't say several days. I went at least twice this week. I didn't use my glue 2 days in a row. Does that make sense? So I didn't use my glue every day. So if I cover my glue with this, I push it. This hole goes quite deep. I will show you. So this hole goes quite deep. I don't know if that's working. Okay. So it goes, I mean, it goes to the, almost to the tip. I would say it goes to about there. So I put this on, but I don't just set it on loosely. I cram it on there. And I have not had my glue dried out. The only time my glue dried out was when I was using it and I set it out too long without covering it. But this is so easy to see on your desk. You just pick it up. You can put it on one-handed. I mean, you can do this. You don't have to look for the freaking hole in that teeny tiny pointy tip. And so I just want to pass on to you, if you want to try a different top for your glue. Now, I don't know how well this would travel because, I mean, I'm pushing pretty hard. It's not coming off because I cram it on there. Now, I did also put one on my Fabri-Tac. I used the larger hold thing, needle tip cover. And I cram it on there pretty tight, especially in between uses. Now, if I'm just gluing and I just want to, you know, and I'm going to be gluing and gluing and gluing over and over again, but let me find let me find something to do this on. This little piece of paper, I won't save. But this glue has been sitting there unused since yesterday morning, and it's coming out just fine. And I did thin this glue the other day, and it's still not thin enough. I don't think I put enough, but it's coming out. See, it's working fine. And what I have done is I take, oh, I have things crashing. I'm sorry. I do wipe it off and jam that on there. And they're working. They're keeping my glue from clogging. They're keeping my glue from drying out. And they're silicone. And see, I can twist my bottle very easily in there. I cram it on as tight as it'll go. And it's keeping it. And it's so much better than a pin. Now, granted, there's a cap that comes with this, with your Fabri-Tac. Every Fabri-Tac I've gotten has a different tip. This one had this tip, right? And you got to screw it on and screw it off. And I've never liked it. And the last bottle of Fabri-Tac I had, this thing broke off. See, it totally broke off. The cap was cracked. It was not a great bottle. So I put that on. I put this on and they go in my little twirly thing that holds them, and all my glue sits together, and I'm perfectly happy with that. And they're cheap. They're very, very cheap, those tips. Like for the set of, you get 2 sets, so 4 tips in the Hobby Lobby set for, I think it was $3. And if they're 50% off this week, you're spending $1.50. You could pick up a couple so that you have backups, but you only need 1 per bottle. So if you get 4 in a thing, you've already got 4 tips. So I just wanted to pass that on. I'm very happy with it. I did want to use it this week before I pass that on to you, but they work. So I will put the Amazon link below. Again, I am not an affiliate any longer. That lasted about 3 days. So I will link it below. If you click on that link, I don't get anything out of it. I'm not promoting myself at all. Yeah, so there you go. I'll be back. I have more projects I am working on, and they're here somewhere. Oh, there's these. I did make bases for the paper clips that Gail came up with, or they came up with them at Creativation, and they're called Over the Page Embelly Clips. So if you have a page, this is the inside of the clip, and it goes over a page like that. So really, it doesn't even mark up your page. Plus, the cardstock gives it a little grip, right? And I do use the larger paper clips because I find the smaller paper clips just don't stay on a page very well. So I had some white cardstock left over from making bobbins to wrap my fabric on that I sell. And so I just need to cover these like, you know, like that. With either something like this or with something like that. Which I probably wouldn't use something this big, of course, for this size. I would use something not much bigger than this, and you leave that sticking up. You can just cover the front and back, or you can fold another piece like this and stick it over there, and you put a little hole in the top for the paper clip top to come through. However, I'll work on those, and we'll see what we come up with. And what else? I made some more buttons. I finished off the papers I had cut circles out of to make the buttons, and I did a lot of organization. I had made some altered paper clips, which I forgot to show you guys the video before last. So I did a bunch of these out of the Tim Holtz stamps, right? And some just out of paper. That's a piece of tissue paper. That is too. So I had made a bunch of regular paper clips, and my little slides. I have a project that I saw somebody do that I want to use clear stickers, which are around here somewhere because I bought them at Hobby Lobby when the Paper Studio stuff was on sale. I don't know what I did with them either. I'll pull them out and show you. And so I want to make some more of these slides because I don't have very many. And I want some for every journal, I think. And then there are a few little paper clusters that are very sad looking. So all of these, I think, need like focal points on them. And I will work on that as well. So I may do that on camera so that I can have your company. So I hope you'll join me again. And again, I'm extremely grateful for you being here and for you helping me through. Oh yeah, I made these too. Helping me through, we're going to do this next, I think. That's just a sample. Helping me through my time last weekend with losing our little puppy and all of that. So I'm over an hour and I'm going to close now. I love you all. Ooh, that's pretty. Thank you for being here. I'm grateful, and I'll see you next time. Love you. Happy crafting. I hope you're well. Stay healthy. Bye, everybody.